In one of my most recent videos, I spent nearly 3 billion coins getting the very best armor set in the entire game, and today I'm going to be showing you how this setup, or basically any mining setup, can make tons of money with almost no effort at all. And no, before you assume anything, this video is not about gemstone mining, because I'm pretty sure there have been enough videos made about that. This video is about the other kind of mining, and it is entirely stable and extremely good. Mithril mining is currently one of the most underrated money-making methods in the entire game, which is why in today's video I will not only be showing you the best gear and techniques that you can use in order to maximize your mithril profits, but I will also be doing a number of tests to see exactly how good it is. Also, because I know you guys enjoy watching me spend stupid amounts of money on things I'm probably never going to use, I'm also going to be spending about 800 million coins on this video just for you guys, so I hope that you stick around until the end. To talk about why mining mithril can actually be good, we have to talk about NPC prices of these, and of course, one enchanted mithril is 1600 coins and a regular mithril is 10, meaning that if you get enough of this can start to make quite a bit of money. This also means, of course, that it's a pretty static money-making method. The market will not shift because it's all determined based on NPC prices, and so you never have to worry about it being better or worse or being killed because a YouTuber makes a video about it. The reason that mining mithril for money is so much better than it used to be is just because of all the new gear and items that has been released with the crystal hollows and the new stats that you can get with it. Although a max setup like this one is extremely expensive, it is also ridiculously good and allows you to have insane amounts of stats. The nice part about it though is that there really isn't much barrier to entry, and you can basically do this at any level of the game, and it sort of just keeps on scaling up how good it is depending on how good your gear and your heart of the mountain tree is. That's why I want to talk about 3 different setups that you can use in the mid, late, and end stages of the game, and how profitable each of them can be. To start off, I want to talk about my setup, which is basically the best setup in the entire game. First is Divin armor. My Divin armor is entirely maxed, and it has all 5 perfect gemstones and all 5 chambers, and in my opinion, it is entirely worth it. Although it's expensive, this setup is ridiculously good and gives you a ton of fortune and speed, and of course if you are mining gemstones, it gives you a decent bit of pristine as well. Next, of course, is my drill, which is the Divince drill. This is an entirely maxed out one with all 5 perfect gemstones, max enchants, and all of the maxed out upgrade modules. I'm using a Sunnyside Goblin Omelette on this one, but you can also use a Blue Goblin Omelette, or you can put that on a separate drill that you can dual wield. Finally is the pet that you should use, but currently I don't actually have the very best pet in the game for mining mithril. Currently, the best pet in the game for mining mithril is the Scatha, and I'm going to be buying this one right here because it is a true epic Scatha, and the legendary ability doesn't really do anything for mithril. In buying this, I will have to go out and level it up to level 100, however, I'm pretty sure that's going to be worth it, as this gives a massive buff to mining fortune. That is why the first thing I'll be doing in this video will be getting this Scatha up to level 100, and of course when I'm done I'll be back and be able to put a quick claw on it. So I ended up doing some of the mining for that myself, but most of it was actually done by a friend of mine who was bored and was fine leveling a pet for me, so huge shout out to her. But now if I go into my pet menu, I can officially say that I have a level 100 epic Scatha with a quick claw applied, which is basically the best pet in the entire game for mining mithril. With these 3 things, I have the best mining setup in the entire game, with the only drawback being that it costs nearly 3 billion coins. Of course, not everybody has that kind of money, which is why I want to show you a few other setups that you can use that are a lot cheaper. The first way you should cut down cost on your setup is in your pets. An epic Scatha is a pretty expensive pet, and a rare Scatha is almost as good while costing only half as much. Also, you can entirely ignore the Scatha and instead go for something like a Mithril Golem or a Silverfish. Both of these are a whole ton cheaper and are still pretty decent. The next way to cut costs is your drill, as a Divince alloy is of course 700 million coins. A 655 or even a 555 are pretty decent options and will give you plenty of mining fortune and mining speed. If I were to opt for a 655 and a Mithril Golem instead of a Divince drill and a Scatha, I would be saving around 1.8 billion coins, and for a lot of people that is entirely worth it. The next best way to save money is in your armor, but it's not what you think. What I'm referring to is not using Sorrow armor or another armor set instead of of Divince armor, it's what you put on the Divince armor. Because each piece of Divince armor can have up to 5 chambers, and the 5th chamber always holds topaz, and topaz does absolutely nothing for mithril mining, you don't actually need the 5th chamber or the perfect topaz on your Divin armor. At current prices, opting to not have the perfect topaz or the 5th chamber actually would save you around 95 million coins. If you're going for a setup that's pretty good but isn't hypermaxed like this one, I recommend using a version of Divin's armor that I just described, a 655 drill that's somewhat decent, and then any pet that you want, and in total, this setup will cost you less than 1 billion coins. If you think that's an unreasonable price, I should probably explain why this is so good and how much money you can actually make from it. Each mithril that you produce goes for exactly 10 coins, and this price is locked because that's just its NPC value. Each blue mithril block that you mine gives you 5 mithril, which is increased by your mining fortune. I have 2000 mining fortune, meaning that on average, each mithril block that I mine gives me 107 mithril. This means that for me, each blue mithril block that I mine is worth about 1000 coins. With good mining speed and fortune and high levels on the efficient miner perk, you can start to make a lot of money. When it comes to your Heart of the Mountain tree, there are a number of perks that are useful, but the most valuable ones are mining speed, mining fortune, efficient miner, mining speed 2, and mining fortune 2. There are a number of valid Heart of the Mountain trees, but this is the one that I prefer because I like having the mining speed boost perk. There are some people who will opt out of taking the mining speed boost perk and the powder buff perk to instead take lonesome miner and mining speed 2. This is really up to you, and it's whether or not you want to spend the effort of activating your mining speed ability every once in a while, or you instead just want to have your brain be entirely off. I'll leave my setup on the screen for just a second because I know that a number of people might want to copy it, and I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory, but if you do have any questions, don't forget to join my Discord server, where you can ask me or other people in my community, and we'll probably be able to help you out. The last thing that I feel like I should really note about the Heart of the Mountain is that you should never ever take Titanium Insanium. This is because in the update that introduced the Crystal Hollows, the Efficient Miner perk was also changed, such that when you mine Mithril, it doesn't also mine nearby titanium. Even without Titanium Insanium, you will still produce some amounts of titanium, which will slow you down a small amount, but not a ton, and they still do give you a little bit of money. Like I was saying earlier, if you don't have the money for a really good mining setup, or you just don't have Heart of the Mountain 6 or 7, so you can't use all of the new gear, you still can use the old mining gear, and it's still pretty decent. If you were to use a setup like this with Sorrow Armor, a Mithril Golem, and a DRX 455, along with Efficient Miner 80, you would be making a little over 2 million coins an hour. That's not great, but for something early game like this, it really isn't that bad. For now, I'm gonna do a quick 30-minute test. A nice part about mithril mining is because there is almost no RNG involved at all, I can do very short tests that will accurately predict much longer time spans. I'm also going to be keeping track of my mining and pet XP, so if I do /player with SBE, you can see that I'm starting with 232,069,450 mining XP over max, and I'm also going to be leveling a rock pet, which is starting with 497,868 pet XP. I just finished off my 30-minute test, and here's what I got. I managed to produce a total of 4,042 enchanted mithril and 27 enchanted titanium. In total, that works out to a little bit over 6.5 million coins, meaning that on average, using my gear, I will be making a little bit over 13 million coins per hour. Also in that time, I got 780,000 mining XP, and my rock pet increased by a total of 350,000 mining XP, which works out to around 400,000 coins worth of pet XP. It also involves absolutely zero RNG, and the market for it is entirely stable, so if you're looking for a low effort and easy money making method that is extremely consistent, this is your best go-to. Once you have maxed out gear, the only way that you can increase your rates is just by making it so that getting from block to block is faster, and you can interpret that as you wish. With all that said, that just about wraps it up for this video. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a script linked in the description that you can use to calculate your mining profits based off of a couple of numbers. If you have questions about anything mining or Skyblock related, I recommend you join my Discord server because I have a super helpful community that is totally willing to help you out with all of those sorts of things. If you enjoyed, I hope that you subscribe, like, and comment your support down below. And with that, I'll see you guys later, and adios.